What's going on, everybody? TheKennyDubz here with another Mega Man X Dive character overview video. Today we're going to be taking a look at iCO, as she is the next character to be released in the global version of X Dive. Alright, and here we are taking a look at iCO. She is going to be the next Dive Fish character released in X Dive, releasing tomorrow, which is Wednesday. Real quick, take a look at the splash screen. I like this here. Okay, so first let's take a look at iCO's skills real quick here. Alright, sorry about that. I had to go pull up data recreation critical information because it's not shown in the game. Spend data energy to deploy an info window onto the field. Info window will access random boss skills from the deep log and release the skill. Info windows will leave after no more of attacks has been performed or after 12 seconds skills are summoned. And this doesn't tell you really much of anything of the skills here. So, over here at the wiki, we have the Shooting Claw from base GS. It's 4 hits and it does 176% attack damage. The purple cube, which shoots 3 shots from Final Sigma W and deals about 100% attack damage on hit, and it penetrates terrain. And then we have the snare, which stuns all targets within range for 2 seconds every 5 seconds. So those are the ones that you can summon with iCO's info windows. So now let's take a quick look at the modifier chips for that. First up, we have the Focus Reconstruction Base GS, increase damage of the Shooting Claw by 15%. The Focus Reconstruction Final Sigma W, increase the damage multiplier of the Cube by 15%. And then we have Focus Reproduction while immobility caused by the snare cannot be removed and ignores preventative shield. This is the one I have on just because I had intended to use iCO for PvP, and ignoring preventative shield would be pretty nice for that. So that's why I went with that. Next up, we have the Analyzer Wall. Deploy a force field that moves with iCO, and it will inflict 181% attack damage to all targets within range and absorb data energy from them. Oh, and something I forgot to note as I did when I did my preview video, iCO does have the data energy bar, much like Rico has. And it will fill up over time, and you can use this to have it fill up even faster. That's going to be relevant for some of our passive later on, but I didn't want to forget to mention that now, and because Analyzer Wall actually mentions that it absorbs data energy from the targets. So first up, for the modifier chips, we have Precise Analysis, increase data energy absorbed by 60%. Power Increase, increases damage rate by 5%. And Data Network, when activating the skill, will receive 20 points of data energy directly. And this is the one I have on, as getting 20 points of data energy seems like the best one to go for, as increasing data energy absorbed by 60%. I don't really know what that means in terms of, how much data energy I get from an absorption naturally anyway. I don't really like this one, and this one just sounds like, I assume this is out of 100 anyway, so if I get about 1/5 of that just off of this, that sounds pretty good. Though this one could be better, I just legitimately, I don't know, right? Because I have nothing to really base it off of. This doesn't give me any actual numbers. So yeah, there's that. So first up, for the passive skills, we have Data Admin, extend the duration of data reconstruction by 30%. So data reconstruction, that is this skill right here. Each window lasts for 12 seconds, so 30% increase on that is quite nice there. Strategy for the unknown, when below 50% data energy, increase damage up by 20%. So as long as you're below 50% data energy, you get a damage amplification, which is always nice to have there. It'd be nice if this was just this was just unrestricted, in the sense that you didn't need to be below 50% data energy. Well prepared. Start with full data energy when you enter a stage. That's always nice to have as well, so you can just kind of spam out your windows when you need them off the start. Then we have Data Cube. When deploying Analyzer Wall, it will launch energy shots at the target automatically to deal damage and cause a stackable slow. The attacks will stop after attacking 15 times or after 8 seconds. Now, this is quite nice. The damage is only 55% of your attack, and the slow status is about a 23%, 20% potency slow. But you can stack it, so that's pretty nice there. And then we have Program Error, reduce the data energy used for data reconstruction by 25%. And when you hit a target with Data Cube, gain a shield that mitigates 66% attack damage. So basically, when you use this, you gain a shield now when using your Data Cube. So your analyzer wall, because of the program error here, and it also costs less data energy to use data reconstruction. So that's pretty nice as well. So you kind of get like an offensive and a defensive option with your shield. Just because you use your analyzer wall and it goes with you. That does damage, and also shoots out damage as well. And then you get a shield for when you connect with the data cube as well. So we'll take a look at iCO's DNA as well. She will have her DNA, or she better have her DNA when she releases. The reason I say that is because DNA was introduced with the release of iCO in the Taiwan version, and since we have other characters with DNA that got them after iCO, she better drop with her DNA, you know? So let's take a look at her fixed DNA. First, if we have improvisation, accurate strategy for the unknown when the data is below 60% energy. Cool. More damage when below 60% energy. Not bad. Next up, we have do not disturb. When you use this skill, you will gain invulnerability status after it is triggered. Let me trigger 1 more to 4-second cooldown. I don't really like the wording on this just because it says the skill. It means just when you use a skill rather than the skill, because I thought it was trying to specify a skill, but if we're going to specify a skill, it would just say the skill name initially. So that's just like a minor thing right there. But when you use a skill, you get iframes, so that's pretty cool. And then we have data processing. Data cube can now pass through landscape and barriers when you have the shield status from program. It can pass through landscape and turns, and then when you have the shield status from program error, increase damage by 30%. So iCO inherently has a 50% damage amplification, just kind of for existing in her kit. You have 30% here when you have the shield from program error, and then you have the strategy from the unknown as well. Increased damage dealt when you're below 50% energy. So that's very, very nice as well. And then this right here, that's the strategy for the unknown when you're below 60% data. So you have a lot more opportunities to have your damage amplification active. So that's already great for iCO, because she doesn't inherently have any weapon amplification. So that's good there. Let's take a quick look at her unique recombined DNA, and it is reduce attack response. When you're in a reduce attack status, reduce damage taken by 12%. This is pretty bad. It's way too niche to actually be useful on a consistent basis. And then on top of that, even in those niche scenarios, it has to be specifically the reduce attack status. So unless you're specifically running into units that have reduced attack status, this isn't going to be useful at all. Aside from that, iCO has some other decent things here. Homeopathy adaptability, adversity adaptability, just a lot of adaptabilities. Long range, mid range, short range, homeopathy. Got that. And then over here, out of control resistance, continuous damage resistance. She has some resistances, but I think some of the better ones are going to be the immobilized special attack or the self special attack, because she can actually trigger these herself. Or maybe you just want the out of control resistance so that you don't actually get out of control as often. Which would probably be a lot more often than you expect, because Grudge Axe is a common weapon. But yeah, because you can inflict, immobilize, and slow. Although I think slow would be much better overall, just because for the immobilize, you can't, at least with iCO, you can't guarantee that you're going to get the immobilized. At least with slow, you can sort of guarantee that because of one of her passives. And the reason you can't guarantee the immobilize is because it's linked to her skill 1, which grabs 1 of 3 random attacks. And only one of them has access to immobilize. So inherently, she can't really make use of that. And that's really it for all of her things. She has a bit more defensive capabilities in her DNA, surprisingly, considering she's a bit more offensive oriented than Rico, at least passive wise. So, there's that. But real quick, iCO actually does have her own card, so we're going to take a look at that real quick right here. This is the iCO card, and this is available in the token shop, but this isn't going to be available in global when she drops, because it's not there right now. Unless we get like an update or something between now and iCO dropping, I don't see her getting it. But pass effect mobility, the preparation time for analyzer wall is reduced by 20%, which is always nice to have, because analyzer wall is on a pretty long cooldown as it is. And then we have short range adaptability, reduce damage taken when you're hit by a short range attack. So If you are gonna use this card, you definitely don't want to get shortened adaptability on Eco for her DNA, as it's already here and they won't stack. So there's that. But now that we've gone through that, let's go ahead and take a look at some weapons that might pair well with Eco. Alright, and kind of as per usual, Eco doesn't necessarily have any weapons that she inherently has like any synergy with, so you can kind of just use whatever you want on her. So with that in mind, obviously Decides Will just going to be good on basically any unit. Eco, at least skill-wise, prefers to be in mid to short range combat, but you can definitely just plop Decides Will on her just because it's Decides Will. It's just a fantastic weapon and gives you an option to attack from further away and just to ignore terrain as well. If you don't have Decides Will, Cannon God's also an option, but Decides Will is just much better than Cannon God, so if you have to choose between the two, Decides Will is a better option, but if you don't have that, you can use Cannon God. I also think that maybe you could get away with using hybrid melee buster combos with her. So Air Buster, and then some melee weapon, or you can really even use Sniper Buster as well. If you're going for Sniper Buster, Explosive Bolt is the best one. As per usual, when I suggest this, I suggest Player Killer as the hidden skill, as it is much more consistent than the other skill of preference, just Penetration. Penetration isn't bad, it actually has higher damage output. However, to get big value out of Penetration, you have to be able to ricochet it off walls. So if you're not good at that, or like if you just want something more consistent, because all you have to do for a Player Killer is just exist. It just 4% damage boost, and it will apply to your skills alongside, just this weapon as well. So as long as you have it active, the Player Killer boost, as opposed to the Penetration. So like more open maps, Penetration won't be as good, or you can't make use of it. I think Player Killer is a lot better. I just think Player Killer is better because it's more consistent. You could also use Sniper Buster as well, or Destructive Laser, but again, Explosive Bolt is just the best Sniper Buster currently in the game, so there are those. And then I suggest Air Buster if you're going to be doing hybrid build, just because Air Buster gives you the Air Buster passive. It gives you a swift wind, so that you can just engage or disengage when you need to, and I think that'll be very good with Eco in particular, just because of her analyzer wall and her dropping windows. Like, you can get in quickly, drop your windows, drop your analyzer wall, and potentially get in some big damage. Or if you need to get away real quick, you can do that as well. Alongside that, because I mentioned the hybrid melee buster combos, Nightmare is always a good option as well, just because it has the passives coming of Nightmare, Nightmare Pursuit. So you just get a stackable attack buff on top of, on top of being able to easily get into your enemy if you're using Air Buster. But just swinging around Nightmare is more than enough just to get the attack buff. That's great. Ancient Relic is a good utility weapon to use as well if you're going hybrid buster melee. If you're using Ancient Relic, that means you're probably not using Air Buster. Just because most people opt to use Ancient Relic with the speed passive. You can use the protective rune as well, I guess, but if you're using Eco, you don't really need this. This is a weaker shield. No, this is a stronger shield. You can use on here, but speed passive I think is the overall best option for that and what people will be using. And then we also have the Grudge Axe. I cannot forget to mention that. As per usual, this is a weapon that I don't really like it all that much, but it's a very, very good weapon. For those of you that are unaware, has Spirit Possession, which can cause out of control, which I mentioned it earlier when talking about the out of control passive that Eco has. And then has Spirit Damnation, which allows it to just steal a random buff from hitting a target. So there's that. And then this is part of why Grudge Axe is so good, because it can just steal buffs and it can inflict out of control. So those two in combination with each other can be very, very annoying. Like, you can steal an opponent's shield, so if they don't have it, now you have it. You can steal their attack buffs, you steal their defense buffs, just as long as they can be stolen or moved, you can take them. So that's good to keep in mind as well. Now, I think you could also get away with using Gator Fangs or Explosive Blower on Eco. Sprayers, I think these are okay. Just because, at least with Eco, like I said, you don't have to be mid to close range as it is. So maybe you go like one of these with like Air Buster or something, just to like kind of close the distance, or Ancient Relic. I think these two would definitely be on the weaker options to use with Eco personally, but if you do get in close with the explosive blower, you know, you get the stun, you can drop some windows. If you happen to get the stun window alongside some purple cube, and maybe like if you get one of each of Eco's windows up with the explosive blower, you can potentially kind of just chain stun your opposition. Or with Gator Fangs, you just make it very hard for them to escape because you're stacking up the slow from her passive alongside with the shield effect from the Gator Fangs. Also, these two weapons just do a decent amount of damage as well, and Eco doesn't particularly have an inherent damage weapon amplification, but she does have that 50% damage amplification just kind of for existing when having her shield active and being below 60% energy. So she could do good damage, you know. But like I said, I think these two are the weaker options compared to the other stuff that you can use with Eco. Personally, I just like using double buster, so that's just what I've been using mostly. And I don't have the size will, as you can see on this account, or even I don't even own Cannon God yet. So at worst, I can do hybrid. I think hybrid is fine, but yeah, obviously the size will is just going to be fantastic on any character that you opt to use it on. So that's it for the weapons. So let's take a look at some cards that might work well with Eco. All right, so over here in the card section, I mentioned earlier, but her card is a good choice. However, that's not going to be in global yet. So kind of as per usual, you're going to want to look for your usual suspects in terms of what you're going to be using for her. Again, weapon wise, it's gonna vary a little bit depending on what you're going to use. Like if you're going to be using, you know, say decides will, maybe you want some launcher amplification or something like that. If you're going to be using the double buster, not double buster, if you're going to be using, I can't even find it, a hybrid melee buster setup that I recommended, and obviously you're going to want your two elite hunters there, just because elite hunter is just fantastic if you're using hybrid buster melee setup. But you're also going to want to keep in mind your player killers from your M Bison, your life aura from base, if I can even find it. I don't remember how far down it is. Do this every time. Here it is. Your life aura from base also has player killer, and from the Sigma X4 card has player killer. And then if you're on a bit more of a budget for player killer, you can get the Wheel Gator card from the research lab. You just make it in there. Or the Mac card is an A-rank card you get from packs as well, right here. Those are two budget options that you could definitely get as well. X and Zero is a card that you can use alongside the Elite Hunters card, just for the bust adaptability. And I believe the X's Memories can work alongside them as well, at least for the top passive on X's Memories. And X's Memories is a card that you can get from the Deep Quarter. Yeah, but it gives you bust amplification, doesn't give bust adaptability, but this is still pretty useful as well. And then if you want to get into like more niche builds, if you actually want to go for double buster, you can go double amplification here as well. If you want to go like double sniper buster or something from Stopping 100 with one. Though this card is from it's from like little battle pass thing. I forgot what it's called, the monthly reward. So if you missed out on it there, I don't know if there's another opportunity to get it. Successfully completed is also a decent side grade to use if you're looking for the double bust. If you're looking for double build, the hybrid build, the buster melee, and you also get this from your guild as well. And I forgot to mention the Akuma card. It has Master of the Fist, so this actually stacks with either whatever player killer you had, just because it's a different name entirely. This is a bit weaker than player killer. However, it also has the added bonus of also mitigating damage alongside amplifying damage. Alright, I think that's it for Eco. I'm a little bit ambivalent about how I feel about her coming to global so soon, just because while I do want her, it means I have to pull. My aim is going to be a little bit of danger, but hopefully my pull session goes well. In any case, hopefully you all enjoyed this video. This helped you understand Eco a bit better. For you that are pulling for her, good luck to you in your pulls. And real quick before we end this video, I just want to give a quick shout out to my YouTube channel members and my patrons for continuing to support me, allow me to continue doing what I do. If you'd like to find out how to support me as a YouTube channel member or as a patron, find the information down below the video, and I will catch you guys next time. Later.